What's up, guys? Welcome to Powerline Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Ryan Lucas. All right, this week's episode is a good one. I always get polarizing opinions on line school, not line school, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys see it often. This week's episode is with two instructors / linemen from the Idaho NLC campus. And let's just jump right into it because it's a solid episode and there's a ton of value into it in this episode. No matter who you are, whether you're just starting in the trades or whether you're a veteran of the trades, there's tons of good value in here for you. Let's jump right in.
Some of us are that way, where you want help, but you're not willing to ask for it. You know, some of the pride in you. Boy, it'd be nice if somebody would help, but I'm not willing to ask for it. You know, I find myself doing that sometimes. I could really use some help, but I'm going to put a burden on someone else.
Do you find that linemen are that way in general?
Absolutely.
Like, just won't ask. I still get accused of that. Like, why don't you, idiot? Why don't you just like ask me to help? You're like, oh, I got it. No, yeah. Whether it's carrying all the groceries in or whether it's like actually doing something else in the field.
Yeah,
I get it.
Don't you like the guy that just jumps in?
I want to be the guy that sees that and helps out and jumps in.
Start doing stuff. Old Foreman used to say, just do something, even if it's wrong. Just do something.
But as a lineman, it is hard to say, will you help me?
Yeah.
Because we are expected to be ready to go at all times with just about anything. And some of us aren't willing to be the guy that doesn't know. That's one thing we like to teach our students is be okay being the one that is the dumbest person in the room, because you're going to learn a lot from that, right? I'm going to ask lots of questions and fail fast. It's okay to fail. Failure is good. You know, that's a different thing for our generation too. We have students come in all the time that they are so afraid of failure that they're locked into not making a decision. That is it's hey, calm down, make one decision. Let's make one decision. We'll go from there. It's okay if it's the wrong one, but let's make one decision. Because right now you're just stuck. You're stuck right there.
They asked that question this morning, like what can we do? Again, like what can we do to be better? I've been on this kick about like electively choosing to do hard things and what that can do for your character and for everything. So I said, the best thing you could do for yourself is just put yourself in situations to do hard things. Because I told them when I was in school, like when I was young, I was the shyest kid in school. There's no way I could do what I'm doing right now if I hadn't have like worked at it to get to this point. Like especially sitting in front of those, I'd have been paralyzed. There's no way. I couldn't introduce my parents to my teacher in grade 4. I was so shy. I'd hide behind them. Like there's no way I could do it. So I had to like elect myself and stick myself in that hard situation again and again and again, build resilience and build the confidence to be able to do these things through experience. But it was hard. I failed lots. I still fail all the time talking to people. You know, you gotta do it. You gotta do it, elect yourself to do it and put yourself in that situation.
You gotta forgive yourself too. Forgive yourself for making a mistake.
Yeah.
A lot of our students will replay that mistake.
Yeah.
And,
we all do.
and not be able to get from underneath it. It becomes this giant weight. I've had grown men, from military vets to 18-year-olds who you take them aside and you say those simple words, forgive yourself for making a mistake, and they lose it. They lose it. It's this interesting thing with our next generation where they are so afraid of failure. I don't know what causes it.
Where comes from? You got an idea?
Afraid to fail. That's just it. You don't want to be a failure.
Yeah.
That would be... I don't think anybody wants to fail. But that's when you get older, you know, you learn that the more mistakes you make, the less likely you are to make that mistake again.
At what age do you think you learned that was like, it was okay to fail and that it meant you're going to build resilience and build confidence? And
I don't know. I think I don't know if there's an age limit. It's just realizing that you're not perfect. So you just got to keep plugging away.
So it's an experience.
Yeah. Because we get a lot of students the age you think, that guy's young, but their maturity level's up there, the way they carry themselves. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know.
Do you think that it was like maybe because even as a child, they were put in hard situations and had to overcome some stuff? That's what I find with people is like, if they've had a rough past, it was almost, I hate to say it, a benefit.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. They should look at it like this benefited me. There's nothing I could do to change the past if it was rough, but it's made them more resilient and, more confident and, taught them things that it's taken others like years to learn.
I think you hit it right there. It's life experiences. And a lot of these students I talk about they are the students from the perfect home life. Parents are still together, middle class, and almost this, I don't know why I'm upset. I don't know why I'm sad. I don't know why I do these things. I really should have every benefit in the world. I should be overly ecstatic and happy, and yet I'm hurting inside. It's like an imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I should be happy, but I'm not. And now I feel terrible because I should be happy. It's this interesting cycle that they get in, and they just haven't done much in their life. And that's one avenue that we're encouraging them to do here is the idea of getting a job from leaving this school is so vast. You're not just going into being a lineman or into the power trade. There, you can get a job doing so many different things. So talking to these young men, it's okay if you don't become a journeyman lineman at some point.
Yep.
It's okay if you start way down here over here. Let's just start building that life and building that story. Let's do something.
Yeah, I also said, like, don't get hung up on what the person beside you is doing. Like, oh, he's already up in the 3 phase, or he's been up in the bucket way more than I have. I'm like, chill. Your career's long. Like, if I even look back at it, I'm still young. I still have at least half a career in front of me if I want it. Like, I look back and I go, man, when I started, that was a long time ago. Like, I used to care about these things, like going up in the bucket. Look, he's going up in the bucket more than I am. I'm not getting that experience. Like, I'm not getting the hot experience like that guy.
Sure.
Chill. You got time. Just learn some stuff on the ground, or learn some stuff, whatever, driving trucks, learn how to be the best truck driver, best machine operator. And then, get up on the pole.
You don't have to be the best. Just learn to be competent.
Yeah.
Learn to be competent.
Yeah, that brings up the mastering of the groundman skills, because that's really where, in my opinion, that's where focus should be. I mean, people leave here, they'd like to be linemen, but they got a long ways to go and master the ground, and your time will come. You'll get to go up. Simple things, stocking trucks, rigging things from the ground, hardware sizes, all of the materials. You got to master that on the ground. Then you can make your way up the pole and do your thing.
And I get it, because the pole's like the exciting place, right?
The glory part of the trade.
Yeah. But you're right. I was always told that as, like, when I started, I was always told, like, spend some time on the ground. Take your time. Spend 3 years down here before you even get up on your hooks or in a bucket, because that's the easy part. It's all the stuff down here that you need to learn first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can learn on the ground. I mean, you're watching, seeing what's going on, and processing all of the information before you get to go up there.
That learning comes from watching someone else do it. So Parker does a really good job. Journeyman lineman doing it, 22 years? He is a groundman first. So no matter what he's doing, he's moving, he's helping, he's operating. He's not above doing anything. And that is contagious for a student to watch.
Yeah.
I want to be like that. He just fills the gap.
A foreman, though,
Yep.
Foreman, I got to do that for a couple of years, and you're basically a glorified groundman, at that point. You got linemen up in the air, so groundman doesn't know what's going on, and you're trying to help the groundman. You know, if you have some linemen that've been doing it for a while, they've got things under control for the most part. So you're just a glorified groundman.
Actually, once I realized that, like, I really enjoyed the heights. I really enjoyed climbing, being up in the air, doing things. But once I realized actually how fun the groundwork can be when you're just like, you're down there and you get to like line everything up. You get to pre-make as much as you can make and have everything set and ready to go, you know. And if you can make your linemen look freaking awesome by just being ready with everything when they need it, before they need it, and it's tidy, looks good, and you're paying attention to the way they like it, the way they like it, like it's fun when you get in that flow. I don't know.
It becomes that gamification where I'm setting this up and I get to think to myself, I know the next steps. I'm going to have this, and this ready. I'm going to have it ready before they even know they have it ready. And I'm just going to guide them through this and allow them to have an easier time, for sure.
Yeah, that's the part of the trade needs to be focused on, in my opinion. Because I mean, they learn here how to climb. They get a lot of advanced skills, but reeling that into like, let's get the groundman stuff set up, get that figured out, and then move on to the next one. And the things they do here, there's groundmen involved, but
explains more on the groundman side of things.
Yeah, like it's more in depth. You know, a simple one is like throwing rope. I mean, if you're trying to pull a service in and you got some calm line in the way or something, you know, throwing a rope. And then there's students here that get to learn how to tie knots, and the application of the knots, you know, that never ends. Applying, you know, the material. Oh man, bolt sizes, drill bit sizes. It's, you know, how to stock a truck. I had a foreman one time. He would just lose his sanity, but if you put something in a bin that wasn't the right bin, he would say what he had to say, but basically said, put it in the back of the truck. Don't put it in a bin. And then when I come by, tell me what bin you know, or I'll tell you what bin it goes in. Don't just throw it. You know, the infamous chainsaws up on one and some guy puts it over here and somebody stole a chainsaw. When really it's just in the wrong spot, you know. So putting things where they go in a neatly fashion for the most part, you know, stuff like that.
Things like you mentioned the chainsaw, like having or being able to sharpen a saw.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you can hand a lineman a sharp saw, you're going everywhere with that guy. Like he's bringing you along everywhere.
There's a trust element there. Yeah. Some guys won't let you sharpen their saw.
Yeah.
I actually don't even touch it.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it myself.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah. Don't even look at it. So you got to earn that right too, to be able to have that set up for someone.
Yeah. 100%. Let's rewind for a second. Where are you from?
Grew up in SoCal. Rancho Cucamonga, and then moved to the mountains. It's a little town called Twin Peaks. It's kind of like near Big Bear. Cool spot.
What's fun to do?
What
did you grow up doing there?
Yeah, hunt. If I could just hunt for a living, oh man. These poor guys in the
rifle hunt, bow hunt?
Yeah, yes. All the above.
Cool.
Whatever is. My kids are hunting now, so my boys are 11 and they're twins. They got their first deer this year. So I think my hunting's kind of taking a little back seat, you know, just trying to get little kids on animals tough and make a shot. But
no kidding.
Yeah, just hunting, outdoor activities.
What do you do? Is there anything specific that you have for advice for people trying to take kids out to hunt? Jeez.
You know what? I will say that's a big answer. I will say what I've learned here at the school as an educator is patience. And the way you say something, you know, there's this ego, for lack of better words, that takes place, I think, with a lot of linemen where there's a lot of yelling. In my opinion, when you yell, you don't get them. I mean, they get the point that you're pissed off, but they don't understand. It's just dad's foaming at the mouth, you know? So being calm, trying to talk them through a situation. Both my boys, I live in an environment where I can shoot a lot, so they get to shoot a lot. You know, having a lot of patience. I watched one of my boys just miss a deer that was a couple 100 yards away, and I'm like, how the hell did he miss that one? And then later in the day, he shot like around 600 yards and hit it. I was like, okay, well, something happened there, but yeah, just being patient, you know, and having fun with it. I try to teach them that if the success is built in hunting, like the killing an animal is the success part, you're going to be disappointed a lot because you spend lots of hours just roaming around, looking and trying to find. And then I get time with my kids, so that's good. Out in the woods.
That's a good life lesson. Like,
oh yeah,
that whole enjoying the process.
Yeah,
I guess of everything. Just like sit with the process.
Yeah, hunting has got to be the hardest thing that I think I've ever done to be successful hunting. Just one more ridge and the next canyon. Next thing you know, you're 6 miles in, and you're like, oh man, it's gonna be a long day.
It's going to be a long day.
And then you kill something, and it's like, oh man,
you kill something in a swamp.
Yeah. I don't know if we have swamps in Idaho, but no? I get what you're saying.
Starting from BC, so lots of moose hang out in the swamp.
Up north, we probably got some swamp territory. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're just way back in it.
That's like notorious for us up north. Is like moose are always. It's very rare. Like a moose is just like in a nice open field. It's not a swamp, or at least like knee deep in muck and mud. It's like, okay, I killed this. Like,
good luck.
Yeah, and same thing, you're like miles from where you need to be. Yeah.
And then my kids say they want to be linemen. We'll see how it goes. But their mental toughness they've been hunting since they've been 5, they've been out in the bush, we'll call it. But what it takes, if anyone is a hunter, they understand it takes a lot of grit, and you can relate that to. There's been many times we probably can all say we've been on a pole where we're like, oh man, what have I gotten myself into, and it's cold and windy. Hunting kind of just goes hand in hand with that. It's just tough. You got to have like the grit to be successful.
You're not on social media, but you follow or know Cam Haines at all?
Yeah, I watch the kids have YouTube hunting on 24/7. So yes.
Yes. Good. Well, that's what he talks about all the time. That's that's not just half. That's his entire mission in life is just preparation for the mountains and preparation for bow hunting. So like peak physical shape, like packs rocks up mountains and stuff, like just whatever he can do, because he's like, if I get myself into the situation and where I'm in the backcountry, it's cold, it's miserable, it's wet, it's snowing, whatever, you shot an animal, or you've injured yourself, like I'm going to be able to get myself out, kind of thing.
You said this earlier, something along the lines of like push yourself to do something you don't want to do type of thing. Yeah. And that's how it is. I mean, that's the trade, I guess, when you're first learning how to climb, it's like, this isn't normal, and then you go hunting and you're like, oh man, we're going to go up that hill, and then you get to the top of that one and you're like, well, I might as well go to the next and the next. You're just pushing yourself harder and harder. I think I lose about 25 pounds during hunting season from, just pushing to get out there and get it,
I asked these guys this morning when I did these like little one-on-one interviews. I said, what were you bad at when you came here, or what did you find difficult that you weren't expecting? And all of them were like, climbing was harder than I thought it was going to be, like both mentally and physically.
Yeah, it's interesting. They build this big enemy with climbing. Yeah, we spend a term going, hey, calm down.
Yeah.
That's just walking to the job.
Exactly.
You guys are making this more of a problem than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Slow it down. Let's get good at the fundamentals of it. And just know, I need you to get to the top safely with enough energy to do a job.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't make this the biggest thing to worry about.
Yeah. It takes a minute to get up there or less, and you're going to spend 8 hours up there. Like, let's figure out the rest of the 8 hours.
Yeah. That's that fitness level is we have students come in, guys, I don't need you to be incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I don't need you to hit the gym. I need you to be able to do some cardio. I need you to run a little bit.
Yeah.
I need you to do a stair stepper, because you're going to be active, and that cardio is going to make life a little bit easier for you.
100%.
I don't know who said it, but cardio makes cowards out of men. We see that every single term. The students that struggle with cardio struggle with everything. It makes the stress level go up. It just makes it so hard for them to be successful.
You watch them just drop weight too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I noticed, like, especially in Texas as well. I'm sure it gets hot here in the summer. Like,
Thank goodness Buckingham made this adjustable belt
Yeah.
where you have a range that they are able to slim down.
Yeah.
They lose probably 15, 20 pounds
Yeah.
very, very quickly.
Yeah. Where yourself? Where are you from?
I'm from about 4 miles down the road, Meridian, Idaho here.
Well, it's convenient.
Yeah, works great for me.
Cool.
My father worked for the local utility here for about 40 years. So I was familiar with the area. I was never a big hunter, but I did spend a lot of time in the mountains. That was my enjoyment here is just being in the mountains.
Just hiking and exploring. And
That's it. Just being out there. There's a sense of peace that comes with being in the mountains.
is there some spots around here that you like and enjoy more than others? Or
Yeah, you can be in the middle of nowhere here
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. There's lots of spots. We don't share it with everybody.
Yeah,
but There's lots.
I get it. Yeah, you don't want all of California
That
coming
way.
up here.
Yeah, there you go. So far, we're getting all the best Californians, though,
Yeah,
I
there you
think.
go.
Yeah.
He's pumping your tires.
Yeah.
I've been trying to convince him to take me hunting with him.
Yeah. Which way do you want me to go? I go that way. No.
You shoot bow too, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Archery.
What do you find archery wise is? What has archery taught you? Life
Oh
skills.
man, how to miss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, missing with a bow for me is not hard. I mean, this last year was successful, but that goes back into that patience of like, oh man, like it's funny you watch. Like you're talking about Cameron Haynes, you watch those hunting videos. You see the success. It'd be cool to just watch the unsuccessful hunts. Because there's lots of those. I mean, everybody has those ones, but yeah, archery's a whole nother game. That's like sneak attack. Like wind, everything. It's just changes
So
everything.
close, right?
Oh yeah, you got to get close, play the wind, all of it. Just yeah, that's a tough one.
You obviously found out about the line trade through your dad. Then,
Yeah.
what made you want to get into it yourself, or is it from a young age, or did you just make the switch one day?
Yeah. I didn't even know this school was here.
Yeah.
I didn't even have it on my radar to really think about. I took back in the day, they used to have these tests you'd take in high school to tell you what job would be good for you. And my guidance counselor brought me my results, and this is how she presented it to me. I'm sorry, looks like you're going to be a plumber. And I remember thinking,
Come on.
I remember thinking my life is over.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to be nothing. I'm going to be a slob. Had I known, had she presented it to me that, hey, you're going to be a plumber. You're going to be able to serve other people. You're going to make an incredible living. You're going to have a trade.
Plus, that plumber makes 8 times what that guidance counselor.
Absolutely.
Without
It
any college debt.
Yeah.
It really affected me. I just didn't know where to go from there. I thought I didn't have enough to really, it was kind of devastating to me, and I had to overcome that over the next few years. That became a weight of my own, that you're actually not, you're slow, you're stupid, you're not going to amount to much. The difference was I didn't want to be indoors. I didn't want to spend time on a computer. I wanted to be using my hands and really helping other people, building things, creating things. And it took a while to understand that that's what I wanted to do. I started a business. I disliked every minute of it. It was not an enjoyable business. Yeah, it was mold remediation. And when you spend a lot of time in crawl spaces and attics, you get over that really fast. And so I was in the middle of that and was talking with my father about my future, and he said, well, why don't you be a lineman? Why don't you go to line school? And so I kind of checked it out a little bit, and so I signed up. During the recession, the last one, and hopeful about what was going to happen. Now, the biggest thing was I was afraid of heights. So I had to overcome that. And I remember thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to overcome this. And my grandpa just gave me simple advice. It was a day we had to go up on the 8 structures.
Just don't fall.
Just don't look down.
Just don't fall.
Yeah.
He said, just don't look down.
Or up.
Yeah.
There you go. Just
without having a focus point to look at.
Absolutely. Just remember where you are.
Yeah.
And you got to take a couple steps. Don't look down. And when it came my time, I made sure I was the first one to go, because I knew if I sat and watched every other person
knock
climb a
yourself out.
pole, I would totally, I'd make it bigger than it is. I got through it. I was so excited. I was relieved I was through it, and I made sure as much as I could, I got on that pole. And I ended up choosing one of the things in life that I was most afraid of as a part of my career. So we go back to that strenuous life that Theodore Roosevelt talks about, is doing hard things, overcoming things as much as you can daily. There's a peace that comes with that, and there's a strength that comes with that as well. And they're my own problems. They're my own enemies that are in my mind, but boy, it feels good to just defeat one every day. You know, just that little enemy, that little voice that says you can't do it. Get a little overcoming of that.
That
really
goes back
out.
to the doing hard things, man. Like,
Yeah.
just continually. Isn't it funny how you immediately associate like being a plumber as like a negative thing?
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the things I've like tried to fight that stigma by doing, like, through this podcast, is like trying to like bring that message to people. Like, the trades isn't that bad. It's not. Like, your life isn't over because you chose a trade. In fact, you're going to really, really love it then, probably, you know? But I hate that. I hate that stigma around, oh, a plumber or electrician or a tradesperson is like shitty. It's not.
That's the last 40 years of directing every child. You got to go to college.
Yeah.
You got to go to college. You got to get a degree. I have no idea what I want to do. Too bad. Go get a college degree, and you can do anything from there. It's nice to have a trade. It's nice to have something tangible that you can give to other people.
I don't think everybody wants to go to school. You know, I mean, you go to a trade school, it's different, but I tried the college thing for a short bit. Oh no, not going to happen. Yeah. I had to be out. The same thing. I wanted to be outside, work with my hands, do something, build something. Just being in an office, trying. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
but
it
that's
just wasn't your
not.
path, right?
Yeah, and that's where hopefully there's people out there that can realize that their path may be outside. I mean, what happens when we run out of plumbers or electricians or you name it? We're going to be in a weird spot.
Yeah, trades are kind of like, when you look at it in today's world too, with AI and things like that, it's pretty easy to see even things like engineering become something that AI takes over, or especially in legal, and you'll have a lawyer that can give it a final human check mark or something, but it'll all be written with AI. Engineering done with AI for the most part. Maybe again, just a final approval from a human, but it's going to take a long, long, long time, I think, before something like a power line is built using some sort of AI.
Absolutely. Tell me two structures that are the same.
Yeah.
Nothing about building that is the same.
No.
It's its own thing that you have to plan every aspect of it.
Yeah.
The environment, the height, the various number of things, animals in some cases.
Yeah.
There's so many things to take into consideration. I don't see how that could ever be something that a human being doesn't control, right?
Yeah.
I get excited with the thought of AI helping to assist us when we're like, say you're up in a bucket. Yeah. So Quanta has done a little bit of like networking or whatever with Boston Dynamics, and I think there's a robot or two, just the little dog versions in the works, and I think there might even be a couple of them at the Lazy Q that they get to like mess with and play with. What I like about that is like maybe it watching what we're doing and being able to, like, I don't know, through an earpiece or something, being able to be that brother's keeper or whatever, like, hey, right shoulder, 30 inches is A phase or something, like constantly telling you or helping you work through like a bank or something like that, like how to wire this bank. And I don't know, just being able to assist you in a different way would be, I don't know, I think like that would be super cool. But you're actually still doing the work, because getting a robot to actually do that is a little bit too weird and cumbersome. But like the human doing the work, but the robot or the AI assisting you doing it, I think would be like a great start.
Totally.
Yeah. Like communicating with it, getting it to help you do the thing.
Way above my pay grade.
Hey, wouldn't that be wild though?
Yeah, it'd be.
You imagine an earpiece that you could just like, it's seeing what you're seeing and it's helping instruct you through something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
All I know of AI so far is it helps me form a paragraph because I can't. I'm a knuckle dragger, so I have a hard time forming those sentences. And I just sat through Quanta's. They did kind of an AI webinar. Yep. So fascinating. So since then, I've tried to use it to develop a little bit better writing as a professional. In the day, one thing we never did as linemen is learn to write good sentences.
It gives you a starting point. This is I geek out over this stuff because I like integrating into your life. And I've been like starting my days with ChatGPT. Just every time you start a task, just put in what you're doing and seeing if it can generate some sort of think about a tailboard or something like that.
I think it's AI.
It's AI.
All right.
Whole body. You know.
Yeah.
It's 2024 right now.
Yeah.
Chat GPT.
This
right?
guy's living in 1891 here.
I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. Let's hear what it is.
It's kind of neat.
Sounds great.
You type something into it. Yeah. Hey, help me write an agenda. That's what I used it for. Help me write an agenda. Here's the things I want to put on it. Kind of form it in a nice way. How are you using it in the morning?
I'll put it a social media example or something like that will be I'll take a YouTube video, and YouTube has on the side an option of transcribing the whole thing, right? So you can copy and paste a transcription of an entire podcast. So I'll do a podcast, and the entire side of it is transcribed into words. I can copy that, paste it into the chatbot, into ChatGPT, and then I'll prompt it, say pull the top 5 conversation points from this podcast episode and bullet point those top 5 things. It'll do that in 3 seconds. And then I'll say, take these 5 bullet points and create a LinkedIn post that's 2 paragraphs long about these 5 bullet points. And it'll do that. I'll copy that, put that in LinkedIn. And it's boom, there's your job. So that would have taken me hours to do. I can do that. So, or you can just start your day prompting, say you got, you want to do a podcast with 2 power linemen, right? They're also instructors for a line college. Help create 20, high quality questions I can ask these guys, just like that. Done. It's an amazing.
Some of the human brain's ability, though.
No, because you still gotta act upon it. It's just a tool.
Yeah.
It's when they reference this all the time. When the tractor was created, everyone said, "Oh, that's the end of farming," right? No, humans just took that tractor and went, okay, how can we work this into our life as a tool and make things better and progress? It's just progression.
Good analogy. The tractor hit home there.
Yeah. There
I got you. That's right. All right.
How did the trade look at bucket trucks when they started coming in?
Same thing.
How did the trade look at 100% attachment when that made its way?
Yeah.
We're still somewhat fight that. Right?
That one.
I love the data. Compiling data, I haven't even thought about that. That's above my thinking right now. But to be able to take that and compile some data that you're trying to just have some awareness on or understanding, think about all the times you're on the computer. If you could knock that time in half, or
I don't have to think hard.
You're not on a computer.
No, no need.
You could basically take any website that you're on, and
this is like an educational class for
seriously, man. Take
what's going on?
Everything that you just read, you're like, wow, that was a great article. Take that article, throw it in a chat, ask it to rewrite it in 2 paragraphs at a 5th grade level because I can't quite understand and grasp this. And it's boom. There's your 5th grade essay. I don't know. There's endless ways to use this, and it's kind of exciting. I think it's good. It's a tool. I don't think it's something to be feared anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's a tool. I don't think there's any stopping it, so we might as well.
Yeah, figure out how to use it.
Heck yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's used more in in your situation for the podcasts, but I guess if there's a lineman trying to get some information on how to build a bank or something, he could probably get a broke down version or something.
Totally.
Okay.
You can also use it for things I've used it for writing legal documents or something, or contracts or something like
Okay.
like you talk about your business.
Yeah. I got a wife for that one.
Yeah, but even that, she could
English teacher
upscale
too,
that upscale that a little bit and get it to write contracts
I'll
for
ask
you. Or yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
Almost feels like you're cheating a little bit with some of that
does.
stuff. Yeah,
it does. But yeah, whatever. Use the tools you got.
absolutely. But I tell students this all the time. If you think high performing business owners are reading full books,
Yeah.
Just sitting down reading a book long form, that's not happening. It's how do I download data as fast as possible? Audio is one of those amazing things where it used to be somewhat kind of frowned upon that you're listening to a book, right? You can't read a book yourself. Now I can't get enough of them because I'm doing that in the background while I can do something else. And I think somewhat
That's it right there.
that AI, how can you help me while I'm able to do these other things that I maybe are more enjoyable or that I want to spend more time on? You do the hard things for me, those things that I'm not very good at, and then I could take that and move forward with it.
It's I don't know. We can nerd out on this for a while. Recipes and stuff. I like the idea of all the smart technology. They've heard of you got smart TVs, but what about like a smart fridge? They're starting to come into where they can read the barcodes and read everything that's in your fridge. And when it starts getting low, it's automatically ordering the next set from Amazon that shows up at your door. So it's cut out all of that shit that you don't want to do.
I don't want my wife to have that.
But, take that now and fast forward quite a few years or however long it takes. What is that going to look like for an industry like ours if you have that sort of tech available? Like imagine how many times as an apprentice or a lineman have you forgot stuff at the shop that you needed for the job site because you missed writing that on your list of shit you needed to load on the truck in the morning? Well, this thing could make you a detailed list of everything that you need and have it available for you. So it's, I don't know, stuff like that. I don't know. It goes on and on, but I think it's kind of neat. It's neat to talk about because it's new and who knows how it's going to be used, but I think it's kind of cool. Just wait till you have to work with the first lineman that has Neuralink in his head.
Yeah.
Now we're beyond what I'm willing to do. Yeah.
What made you, I know you talked a little bit about how you guys got into the trade. What made you get into the trade?
Yeah. So I wanted to be a cop. That's my family, police, fire. And I always worked hard. I knew I had that going for me. I worked at Carl Jr. when I was 16, and I worked at Hollywood Video. You guys know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
So I worked there for a little while, yeah.
I'm 42.
Oh, all right, perfect. Same age here. But my buddy's dad owned a contract company, and they wanted a guy for the yard. And it was just literally that, like maintain, pull weeds, whatever they wanted. They started learning about material. And then started doing some police stuff. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then they asked me if I wanted to be a groundman, and I don't even know what that is. And it was like $23, I think, an hour, Oh, yeah, shoot, I'll do whatever you want.
Let's go.
Clean the toilets, whatever you need. And they started putting me out on a crew. And then I started getting the jam of what was going on. And now I was like, man, this is it. This is cool right here. So just kind of gave up on the police stuff. And my first year, I remember I made some real good money. And my dad was like, yeah, you're going to go buy a house now. And just progressed from there. I didn't even know anything about it. When they said lineman, I was like, I don't play football. I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, what is all this? Well, I went to Union Hall. I remember signing the books and talking to people there. I was so lost. I was 18 years old, and I didn't have the foggiest clue. Yeah. Like, what is going on? And then, like I said, it progressed. And now I wouldn't change it. I mean, especially in the culture we're in now, I'm glad I'm not in that area.
Did you piece all of that together yourself? Like it took, I had to piece, even though I had a lineman as a father, owned a small business, line contracting outfit. I was around linemen growing up, but still once I decided to do it, I had to figure out all of this stuff. Like, what does a union mean? What is that? Like, what you can work non-union? What does that mean? What's like the difference between co-ops and contractors and utilities, and like, what does all this mean? what's your advice for, because I'm sure you guys get those questions like all the time. People come in here with just wide eyes, like, what does this all mean and how does this all work? I go, where to do what?
Yeah. I try to piece that together as best possible in the time while students are here. But I really, I had to figure it out, and I think that's the best. I try to tell a lot of the students that come through, just get out there and start moving. And then next thing you know, you're going to figure out what's going on. I mean, you hook up with a crew and you're a groundman and there's apprentices. So they, you communicate. So you gotta just get out there and start doing it. And there's so many different avenues, like you said, that, you got utilities, co-ops, IOUs. I mean, the list goes on. And unless you just start moving, you're just going to be stuck. So you just got to start, just go one direction, you hit a crossroad, figure out which way you want to go. Doesn't work, turn around, go another way.
What do you say to those people when they say, what do I do? Which way do I go?
It's a good question. Let's start with, where do you want to go? Are you willing to go anywhere?
Yep.
That opens the door to where you can go at that point. What's your life look like? Do you have a family? That could change the avenue where you want to go. For me, I was coming in, I was newly married, ready to start a family, and I knew, contracting wasn't going to be my world. That's not what I wanted. In life, I saw myself as being a husband, a father, and then a lineman down here. And so I wanted the family dynamic. So I chose going to a co-op, and I picked a company, and every week at school, I think I started my 5th week within school, I called this company every single week. You got a job available? Nope, nothing available. And it was about week 10 of being in the school. I said, yeah, we got a job for you. Why don't you come down and do an interview? And to this day, I can still talk to the same HR rep that I spoke to and called every single week. Gerald Terry is his name. And he helped get me an interview and be able to go in and do that job. So I always tell them, let's answer a couple questions about our future. What do you want your future to look like? If you're single, if you're 18, if you're 19, and you want to travel, if you are willing to go anywhere, man, let's go union. Let's go contracting. When I got into it, I didn't even have a concept of union or non-union.
Yeah. I
was thinking, growing up here in Idaho, the local power company here, they're a non-union company, so that's all I knew.
Yep.
So my instructor said, get a job. Just find a job so you're in the trade. Yeah. And that's what I did. I found a job. There was nothing here. Seemed like there was nothing in the Northwest during the recession. Just couldn't find anything. And so I found my way to Texas and did my time there. But I just went to just a hole in the wall in Texas to start working. And that was
your door in, right?
That was in.
That's
that was
exactly
in. I'll go.
What I tell everybody is your path in is your path in. The thing is you found a way. Just find a way, and then you can navigate that.
Absolutely.
Because they get too hung up again on which way should I go. I'm like, what are you doing currently? Nothing? Okay. go non-union, go union, go co-op, go contractor, go whatever gets you through the door. Just put your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then figure it out. You'll figure it out fast.
It's gotten way more competitive too. I mean, I started young, so it's changed a lot, but that's the key, is to get your foot in the door, because it is competitive. So, I mean, I think in the early 2000s, I think it was easier to become a groundman, get into the trade, and now somehow it seems like the trade has grown in popularity, so there's a lot of people that are taking interest, so it's kind of flooded the market a little bit, but you got to start somewhere. So it's, do something.
There's a lot of flack online, and I get it. I'm a union lineman myself, journeyman lineman, local 258, BC, Canada. But I had a local. I could go to a hall. I could put my name on the books. I could get in that way. A lot of people don't have that anywhere, especially if they want to, like yourself, you want to be a family guy, you want to stay close in your community. A lot of people still just don't even have that ability to go union in that area yet. I know it's changing a lot, but so like, what do you tell them? Don't get in? It's like, no, find your way in and then figure it out from there. Maybe you decide you do want to go contracting and explore and get out and, swap over to a union guy. But like, I just say, get your foot in the door, man. If it's what you want to do, just however you get your foot in the door, get your foot in the freaking door. Like,
let's get a job. Let's get some money in our pocket. Yeah. It's a lot easier to make decisions with money in your pocket, Yeah,
exactly.
It goes back to what we talked about earlier, afraid to make a decision.
Yep.
A lot of these young men and women, they're asking so many questions and they get lost in the asking of the questions. Where do I go? What do I do? How do I get there? Hey, where do you want to go? Yeah. Make one decision, tackle one company, get a hold of them, reach out to them, keep calling them. The days of, I kind of miss the days of where you can talk to somebody when you're applying, you could show up. You can continue to show up. You can continue to call. I don't know if those days exist anymore. You got to beat the algorithm of putting your resume in and getting past that first round before you can even, talk to anybody. I kind of miss those days of just being able to share with somebody how you want to be part of their company. How you can help them serve the community, whatever it might be. I think those days are gone.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about our kids are relatively the same age, or my oldest and your oldest, and that generate like they're gamers. My kid was a gamer, and kind of he graduated high school through the COVID era, so like his last 3 years, 10, 11, 12, was all online. He graduated online. Like there was no party, no celebration, no 400 kids and friends from that whole high school. He never met anybody, saw anybody. He couldn't go out with anybody. All his buddies and friends were like online. People he met gaming. They lived in Seattle or LA or East Coast. These are his best friends he spent the most time with, but only maybe met them once in person when he went, to visit them or something. And what I'm finding with him, like getting a job now, I'm like, Nolan, like, have you gone in and talked to him? He's like, I submitted, 20 resumes online. Like just, it's all online. I'm like, dude, like get dressed up and go in to the restaurant in person, ask to talk to a manager and hand them a resume and like look them in the eye and tell them what you are looking for. You're looking for a, front of house job or a bartending job or something like that. Like, how do I do this? Like, talk to them in person, because all they're getting right now is submissions online. Yeah. You're going to stand out a little bit more if they get to see you and you're presentable and you got some confidence and you got some, like, I don't know.
Show up, tuck your shirt in, iron your shirt.
Yes.
Gosh, these aren't things that people do anymore.
No.
And it's fascinating. No. What tucking your shirt in does. Yep. If you're going in applying for a job, any service job anywhere, hey, I want to apply to be a server. I'm going to show up and say, how you doing? Do you have any positions available? And I'm going to look ready to go and ready to work at that moment.
Yep.
But describing that to someone, a young man nowadays, my son included, hey, you got to look presentable. Yep. What does that mean anymore? But getting a young man to tuck their shirts, and we have some requirements here, and one of them is tucking your shirt in. You have to have your shirt tucked in at all times. Now, we know as they work, the shirt's going to come untucked. As soon as you get an opportunity, put it back together, because there's a mindset that comes with just tucking your shirt in.
Yep.
Just now I'm professional. I'm thinking at a professional level.
Yep.
I talked about this with somebody recently, being that person that shows up early. However early that looks like. I think most of the guys, the team here, they show up about an hour early before they even have to be at work. Yeah. There's a lot that happens in that hour, and some of it's fun, some of it's just preparation. But being someone that shows up early allows your day to start in a controlled manner. Versus, do any of us want to work with the guy who's showing up at last minute, stressed out,
hasn't got his boots on yet?
Yeah, doesn't even have them tied.
Yeah.
Getting in there, I had a boss tell me when I got into the trade, if you want water, you better show up early and get it before we get started, or you're not getting it. And I started in Texas in August.
Yeah.
You showed up early and got water.
Yeah.
So you had it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge. How did you guys transition into this now? Like into instructing and being involved with the line college?
Go ahead, you go first.
I've been trying to come back to Idaho for years,
Yeah.
but we loved it. I worked for an amazing company. I thought I'd probably be there the rest of my life. My wife loved the area. We were living outside of Austin,
Yep.
Texas. It was amazing. All our friends and family were there. And we got to talking one day, and I said earlier, I love the mountains, and I'd been convincing her over the years, we got to get back to the mountains. And I'd been praying on this for a while. God, can you help my wife understand we need to move back to Idaho, move back to the mountains?
Please convince her I need to go.
Yeah, boy, out of nowhere one day she said, hey, if you're interested, I'm ready to go back to Idaho. Absolutely.
Tomorrow.
And I got to looking at jobs, and a job here at NLC popped up, and as we're looking, she goes, hey, do you remember when you graduated, you said one day you want to come back in and be an instructor? And I had forgot about that over the years. And man, you're right, babe. So I put it in, and I was thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, because I don't want to speak in front of people.
Yep.
There's another giant
Yep.
beast just talking in front of people. If you're doing speaking gigs now, it is a bit of a skill, and I wasn't ready for it. I came, I did my interview, and the interview at the time, it's a week long. It's a week-long interview. You got to do a demonstration outside, doing something, and then you got to do a classroom class for the students. And I came in, I think there's about 70 students in the room. They do a 15-minute demonstration or class on Y Delta. So I stayed up all night the night before, and I was ready to go. I wrote it all out. I was prepared. I stepped up there at the lectern, and I couldn't read anything. I could see the words, but I could not read.
I feel it. Already getting sweaty.
And all the instructors are in the back.
Yep.
They're watching me and how I'm going to operate. And I remember thinking,
that's it.
Just talk on the overflow.
Yeah.
So I closed my notes, and I just started talking. And first thing I did was kind of say a joke to somewhat break down my own fears. As soon as I got a laugh, it kind of smoothed things out. I got an opportunity for the class to, hey, let's give a round for the instructors in the back. So it got the focus off me again, and I barely made it through it. I thought I was going to pass out a few times. It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough. They barely gave me the job. And I
doubt that, but
yeah. My first class, you have to go through this training on teaching, being able to learn how to teach, and it's just a quick class, and I'm doing it in front of 6 other people, and I'm putting on my first term, my first class, the entire class. It's a 60-minute class, so I'm teaching it to the group around me, and I'm getting nothing. They're not giving me feedback. It was so flat, and I was all the air was let out of everything that I was planning, and as I'm teaching, I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I have a job now. I've moved my family from Texas, but I can't do this. Yeah. I was so disheartened by it. And so it's taken me a few years to
So just like everything else, it's something you had to continuously.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I bet he is. I bet he is.
A great speaker graduation.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that exact scenario. I'm the same way teaching. I know I'm going through the exact emotions you were going through, feeling every bit of it. It's taking me right back to that again. Terrifying. It's terrifying.
I remember my first day. I know it's crazy, but side at Avenue, but he comes by and I'm like sitting at the desk and I'm just thinking about it. I'm sweating, and he's like, "You ready?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea what I'm about to do right now." And I was just going out to teach him how to roll pan lines or something basic, And I was like, "No, I quit. I'm out of here. That's it. I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing." It's like to put it into words is the difficult part. It's up in your head, but you got to break it down. And slow the whole process of it, but
It's
tough.
It's not like training apprentices. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
You spend more time motivating, encouraging, building an environment where they're willing to listen
Yep.
than you do doing anything else. I have to build this somewhat wall of psychological safety for our students to even feel comfortable to hear what we're saying. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's not like anything I've ever done. You have to be very prepared for it.
I don't know if you can prepare for
I
it. You just got to start.
You just got to get into
teaching,
it.
and next thing you know, like, well, that didn't work. Like, there's a lot of that. That didn't go well.
We call it being
Try
on
something different.
live TV.
Yeah.
When you're on live TV, you gotta make it seamless and flow. We're panicking inside, but you gotta not let the students understand that you're panicking too. One thing I learned over the years is when you do these speaking gigs, I spoke at the Capitol here, and I did that to overcome a fear.
Yep.
The people that are listening are rooting you on.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing to really understand.
Yeah.
But I learned that over the years. Anybody who listens to a speaker is really hoping, man, I hope you do a good job. I hope you put forth the effort into this, and they will match your emotion. So if you're flat, if you're not projecting excitement, if you're not smiling, they won't either.
Yeah.
And so we teach that a lot, is just being able to read the room and kind of bring up the excitement of the class. Yeah. Every one of our classes, we try to avoid lecture. Lecture is the death of learning. Every class should be
Reading
fun.
off of PowerPoints.
Oh, yeah. Every class we have is all set and ready to go, just like that AI. It's all set and ready to go. What you do with it now is up to you. Yeah. One of the best people I've seen put on a class is this guy right here, because you know what he does?
There you go.
He goes, "Hey, Mallard, I think I'm going to get fired, but I'm not doing anything on this class from the PowerPoint. I'm going to teach him the information, but I'm actually going to do this instead." And he'll build this entire world. He'll draw it all on the whiteboard. They'll be running trouble by the end of class, and these are pre-apprentices. It's amazing, and and they love it. They're so excited about it. Grades are, they pass all the tests. They get everything that they need to know, but then they get more. And you can teach in one of two ways. You can teach so they pass a test, or you can teach so they can pass a test and have that extra. And I have to commend you, man. You do a really good job of teaching on that extra. And I think every term, every place he goes, "Hey, Mallard, I'm not going to do it how we've done it in the past. I just can't. We got to give a little bit more."
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love
get
that.
some hands-on learning. That's for me. Again, some people. My wife can read a book.
Yep.
She's got it all. I read the book and I'm like, wait, we got to start over. So get the hands-on part. That's where I like, get the class up. All right, let's talk about let's put into action what we just talked about. Yeah. That's how I feel like I learn better that way. Probably not everybody, but
no, I think everybody does. Like human beings have learned throughout millennia. We've learned in stories. We've transferred what the generation before us knew and learned. We transfer it to the next in the form of a story or storytelling. And that's what you're doing. Like, you use that term, building a world. Like, that's the best way to learn. Lectures in reading off a PowerPoint, like monotone, like that's boring AF. Like, nobody's going to learn that way. Nobody has learned that way. Mm-hmm. And if they did, they're lying to you. Like, they went home after and their notes look like a book, like a storybook. They didn't learn what the professor showed them that way. So I love that. You got to build. Yeah, you got to build a world. I like that.
Going back to getting into teaching element of this is one thing I learned over the years is I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew what it meant to be a lineman. I had no idea. I have been humbled more being in this job, being around the people that are on the team than I could ever imagine. And it's fantastic to be humbled all the time because everyone around you is better at just about everything. Then they give me a management role because everyone's so much better than me and everything else. I just need to make sure they're in the right spot.
He has a talent in his own.
Yes.
Yeah.
But and we talk about this, being able to teach that mindset to a student to be humble. You'll never know everything. By the time you learn it, you may forget it a few times and have to relearn it. Be that person that is humble enough to say, hey, I actually don't know what's going on. Can someone help me figure this out? Yeah. Be the person asking the question. I ask this guy a lot. Well, it goes just for understanding. We have instructors from the East Coast to the West Coast that have done, I think we have over 200 years of experience on our, just this team here. And it's amazing, the different names of everything, the different ways to do things. I have realized over the years, there's just so many different ways to do it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And the sooner you learn that, the better off you are. Like as a worker, right? The sooner you learn that there's more than one way to do this. And just because this person taught you and he said it was the only way to do it doesn't mean that it is. And if you can be a bit of a chameleon, I was a bit of a chameleon because I was like good with it. I was like, no, you know what? I learned a bunch of different ways. Doesn't have to be my way. As long as it's not safe. And if you're willing to accept that it's going to take longer because it's your idea, I'm fine with doing it. Sure. Like, I'll tell you, I got a different way of doing it. If you want to incorporate the two or try mine, sure, but I'll do your method.
That makes you a really good journeyman that way.
Yeah.
That's the leader.
Yeah.
That's the leader.
Yeah.
To say, hey, if you want to do that, let's do it. Yeah. I'll support you on this. We'll own whatever outcome, whatever happens with this. I'll support you on this. And being okay with saying, I don't need every answer. Yeah. Because I want to develop everyone around me to be owners of the decision, right? Yeah. Best decision wins. Yeah. Let's try that. Hey, after the job, let's never do that again. Can we agree that was a terrible idea? Yeah, you're right. Thank you for letting me try it, though. Yeah. There's a confidence that comes with that. As being a leader and developing leaders around you is the first thing I don't want to do is let them know that I think I have all the answers. And we do a really good job here of teaching our students we don't have all the answers. And I've seen our instructors, myself included, where you're standing in front of a class and they've asked you a question that you do not have the answer to. And there's a bit of a humbling moment there. There's a challenge there to actually be honest and say, students, I actually don't know the answer to that. Yep. But you know who does? Billy Josen or Matt Parker. I'll put you in touch with them. As soon as we're done with this class here, I'm gonna actually text them and see if we can find the answer out. And if they don't know, they'll find the answer for me. That's what's great about the brotherhood is we're gonna know somebody who has the answer. If I need to FaceTime somebody for them to walk me through it, send them a picture or just call that I just need some help on this. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've met more guys that are willing to do that, to be wrong or to not have the answer and be okay with that.
What do you love about this job now?
Oh, the impact on people's lives. Coming here, this is a big step for me. I mean, I grew up in SoCal, spent my whole life there. And then you think you're ready to teach someone, and then you get in the role and then all the obstacles, I always tell everyone, teach someone how to tie a bowline. I mean, because that's, you, the three of us can tie no problem.
Again, 1,000 different ways to do it.
Yeah. and then to break it down, though, to your learner to say, like, here, let's just go step by step. So anyways, there's, probably 100 different students that, I'll get email or text or questions, life questions, of like, should I do this or this? And it's like, I don't have an exact answer. But the impact on people's lives, I mean, it's crazy. More so on their, the personal side, the trade they're getting from wherever they went, and to see growth. I mean, I've been here 4 years now this month. So it's crazy to think the first term, there's probably some journeymen out there that I don't know, so I'm hoping I impact them in a positive way and they're able to grow and just shape their future. I mean, I remember my second class of the day, some young man came up and was like, hey, Mr. Parker, what my mom's giving me some pants. What size pants do I wear? I'm like, how do I know? I thought it was a joke. I was looking around for cameras or something, like the instructor was playing a joke, and he didn't know. It's like, all right, turn around, let me see, there's young men that just left their house, and, they're counting on us as instructors to help them. Yeah. So definitely a positive impact people's lives. Incredible.
I love that. I had one kid that same thing. He got up on the pole and he froze at like the 10-foot mark. And I'm like, hey, how's it going up there? He's like, I need a minute. So I like slowly put my hooks on and my belt. And I just like got up there with him at the 10 feet and like, hey, you ever been on a ladder, like clean gutters or anything? No, sir. Like, wow, buddy. Like, I don't know. This is only a 35-foot pole. Like Big John, we had this big 120-foot pole in the yard that was a requirement to pass the course. You had just like your tower out there. You got to climb this pole at the end, and that's one of the criteria to pass or fail. I'm like, Big John's 120 feet. It's a long ways up. He's like, yes, sir. But like same thing. Never been on a roof. Never climbed a ladder. Like everything was done for them at home. Like just never done anything. Buddy, you got a lot to get over and a lot to do before you start doing this. So
it's cool when you see them overcome that obstacle. That's really that's the joy of the job.
Yeah.
Did he make it?
He did not. No.
That's the heartbreaking
But
too.
he chose that though.
Yeah.
Like his father was a lineman, and again was like it was more his family telling him to go do this.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I don't care if I'm a disappointment. I'm like, buddy, you're not a disappointment. I'm proud of you for just making the decision. Because he says, I still don't think this is for me. I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. I'm like, that's perfect.
That's a grown-up decision.
That's a grown-up decision, exactly. And that's, that's going to save your life. It's going to save somebody else's life potentially. Like, that's a great decision. And I'm like, if your old man's a lineman, you're probably still going to have an opportunity at some point in life. If you decide differently and you change, you grow up a bit or whatever, jump back into it. Like he was 19. Like just go get some life skills first. Maybe this is for you later, but right now in this moment, it's a good decision.
I think anybody can do this.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Right? We can bring anyone in here. I could teach them to do anything, but overcoming those mental hurdles, not everybody can do. I've seen, you could attest to this too. We've seen military vets that have jumped out of airplanes, but you put them on a pole and they're shaking and crying out of fear. It's not for them. And that's okay. That's okay. There's other paths that they can go down, but making that decision to say, actually, I don't want to do this. I'm not willing to do that. Is a big step. Yeah. That's a big step for someone to do. The amazing ones are the ones where they do overcome it. They struggle at 10 feet, and Matt Parker here puts his hooks on and just slowly walks them to the top of the pole, talking to them the whole way about probably hunting.
Yeah, anything but climbing, you take their mind off and try to relax a little.
And then by the end of the term, they're doing everything on their own, and they're shaking your hand at graduation saying, thank you for helping me. Yeah. Thank you for just being kind enough to spend some time with me and get me over that first mental hurdle.
Yeah. Wanted to ask you guys, I see this question a lot online, and you guys are both linemen, so you can answer this because it's always from linemen that say, when we're thrown out there about line schools, and people say they're a waste of time. They're a waste. I always reply with with whatever your foot in the door is, go do that. If this helps you be better and get that foot in the door, that's my answer to that all the time. But it's very polarizing. People either are like, yeah, I think it's a great thing. It's good. Utilities want to see this now. It helps prep all these different things. Or it's waste of bloody time, waste of ever. What's your guys' response to that?
Yeah, if a young man can get, I got two boys say they want to be linemen. If they can go sign the books and become groundmen right away, I'm not going to stop them. To say it's a waste of time, the waste of time, if we weren't teaching line work, then it would be a waste of time. When I started, I didn't know. I knew tools, but give me a this and a that. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what they're talking about, So we try to bring that in, materials, tools, The climbing part of it's amazing. I mean, to my apprentice class, I remember six of us out of 30. So we started with 36, made it. But I think if someone is a graduate of NorthWest Lineman College, they have the ability to climb, and that part's been ruled out. You know, I mean, you lose some in the beginning of an apprentice class right away. Back in the day, you know, you start off with 30 and 5. Yeah, this ain't what I want to do. So it gets rid of that group of people. You know, the hindsight. I mean, we have 15 weeks basically. Well, I guess it's 14, but let's call it 15 weeks with these students. They can only take in, and we can only give them so much. So when they leave here, they're much more prepared than just like my kids go sign the books and they're groundmen. All right, to the wolves you go, boys. Get out there and you figure it out, you know. So they have a good foundation. Obviously, we can't teach them everything. I will say the climbing part of it, though, they're pushed. And if they graduate, like I said, from NorthWest Lineman College, they know how to climb a pole. Obviously, there's more to it than that, you know, but they have that foundation there.
We're not perfect. No line school is perfect. We do provide a way for, and we're not necessarily gatekeepers of the industry. You know, companies responsible for who they hire. But I think we provide a good service for companies to save a little money on the front end. I don't have to train you on certain things because you've already have a base. And here's step one. You want to do this. And you've proven that you're willing to do this. So I think you run a gamble with a lot of guys coming right off the street. Are they willing to do this? And can they do this? Now, there are probably lots of men and women out there that can not ever have to go to a line school and will be successful right out of the gate. You know, they have somewhat of a backstory and life experience that allows them that. For everyone else, this is that introduction. Do I want to do this, and can I do this? Is this my future? Is this sustainable? And that, I think we serve a good element in, and we see it as that's a service. Our product are the students. And we constantly figure out ways, how do we get better? We're not perfect. We're trying to be perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but every day, how do I break it down a little bit better for a student to understand? How do I teach our students how to think? Because you'll teach them things, and he said it already, they cannot grasp everything. You cannot teach them everything about the line trade. We're trying to stick to the basics. And one of those is, how do I have the mental skills to get myself into the trade, keep myself safe, and keep everyone else safe? There's another element of a line school, is that safety element. How do I know what all the problems are? Mm-hmm. Am I going to know all the problems? No, but can I be able to say, that looks like it's going to not work out very well. Hey, can everyone stop on this right now? Can you re-explain this to me? Because I don't think we're headed in the right direction. Giving them confidence to stop a job. There's one thing that, if that saves a life, if that allows a crew for everyone to go home, then it's all worth it for me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're teaching young men and women how to serve at the end of the day. This is how you get in there, and this is how you serve. And we fight a behavior element of our next generation all the time. When we meet with companies, hey, can you help us? And they hire people off the street as well. And the same thing applies, whether you're off the street or coming from line schools. Can you help us with behavior? Can you help our future employees to have a different behavior? That humbleness, that willingness to serve, that willingness to work. And so at the end of the day, if we as a line school can give plans and hope for a future for our students coming through, and then if we can give a student going into the trade the confidence to stop a job, the confidence to assist a crew, to assist a community, man, I hope that's what we're doing. But yeah, they're right. They're right in some cases. You don't always need a line school. But I think there's a lot more benefits that outweigh not going to a line school.
I love the prep aspect of it too. Like, you're specifically curating the best things that you can and delivering them to them. Like, I always get asked the question, how can I prepare myself, or how can I be better than that guy beside me to do this job that I'm trying to do and apply to? Like, the line schools, honestly, like, you're taking all the best stuff, your AC fundamentals, your rigging, your climbing, you're taking and you're compiling it and delivering it in the best way you can. And you're giving them a head start, and it's all delivered in 15 weeks. And yeah, it costs money, but like everything in life costs money. You're just going to pay for it on one way or another. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you go sign the books and I don't have to pay. I just get a job immediately. Yeah, but you don't know all of this stuff that this person already knows now because they paid for it. You're paying for it some way or another. You're going to pay for it by getting yourself hurt, or you're going to pay for it by working after hours to try to learn this stuff, or learning the hard way. I don't know. Just, it doesn't make sense when I hear the comment, and I just want to say all of these things to those people. Like, chill out, like, relax a little bit. It's good, valuable stuff. I don't know. I'm for it in that way, but do you need it? No, you don't. You don't need it. You can go sign the books. You can get hired on. You can go do it the hard way, but why wouldn't you? Like,
it makes you more valuable.
Totally.
It's, I'm an NLC grad. You're not. Mm-hmm. I can tell you one thing. Upon entering the trade from here, my eyes were about this big, and I was thinking to myself, I am not prepared.
Yeah.
And yet, as I went through my apprenticeship, I already had learned a lot of this in the line school, and it made the learning element along the way, along my way to being a journeyman, a whole lot easier.
Close that gap a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I can help other people along the way. Yeah. Now, I say something that's probably not very popular because everybody's there. They want that journeyman card. If I could have been an apprentice for 10 years, looking back on it now, I would have totally been an apprentice for 10 years. Meaning, if there was a step process where you're learning along the way, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to develop my thought process and my understanding a whole lot more than I am trying to earn that journeyman card. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I totally wanted that journeyman card. But once you have it, your world changes. Now you're expected to know everything. Yeah. And it doesn't mean you're ready that you have that card. That's when learning really actually starts happening.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people ask, at the end of the term, did I make the right decision to be here? And I always comment along the lines of, back to my earlier statement where it's a competitive market now to become a lineman. I don't know how every company hires. I'm the foggiest clue. But if I was a company looking to hire people, I would want to have some type of, not just NLC, other colleges out there. Like, now I at least know these guys have the fundamentals. They passed and got onto it. So if you want to put yourself at the top of, the pecking order, I would go, attend just to make yourself better. I mean, you got one guy who's off the streets, got a CDL, doesn't know anything, you got a graduate of a line college. He's got all these certs, OSHA 10, first aid, CPR. Going to put you at the top of the list. If you can get in without it, glory to you. Go for it. That's my thought.
And you're learning in, I fully agree with you. You're learning in like a very controlled environment where it's welcomed to fail and make mistakes, and you're coached through it. You're not yelled at, screamed at, potentially hurt, because it's set up for that. There's the capacity to fail here,
absolutely,
and learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be a part of, at least for us, the Quanta family, is you're coming into that, and, we don't place anybody in their job. However, Quanta has a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And if we can help a student meet one of these friends that Quanta has, boy, it's going to be a whole lot better. Now, I think Quanta, correct me if I'm wrong, over the next 5 years, we need a whole lot of linemen. Yeah. I think they calculated 15,000, right? Which means we need to train 30,000 just to get to that. So we know, gosh, our job is cut out for us. And I always worry, is there enough jobs out there? And I was looking the other night, we meet with companies, and a lot of companies are going to this groundman. They're going back to, hey, we're going to hire groundmen. We're not going to hire necessarily an apprentice right away. I need you to be a groundman first. There's so many jobs out there in so many different avenues. If you leave here without a job, you haven't put forth the effort.
Yeah.
There's too many jobs out there.
I was just in Florida at the Outside Apprenticeship Conference. And one of the things you're seeing right now is right in this moment in time, there's a lot of people sitting, not working. You're seeing this like little downturn right now, which is okay, because I like to tell these people, like, we've seen it. I know I've seen it lots, and I grew up around downturns. My dad went through 3-4 recessions as a business owner in line work. As a lineman himself, had to remortgage his home twice just to meet payroll. Those sorts of like major downturns, like they happen. This little blip, you can't get a job like right now, like relax, because what's coming, and this is straight from the leaders in the industry, whether IBEW, NICA, contractors, the White House, there's about to be billions and billions of dollars put into infrastructure build in the next, few decades. So like, there's work there. Maybe in this moment in time, there's not, but there is so much work there. So yeah, get ahead of it.
Yeah, be patient, ride that out, because it's a wave up and down and up and down. Sometimes you're working. This is where it goes into another part of educating and being smart with money. I try to tell most every student I can, like, just be smart with your, you get the guy who's like, I'm going out, I'm buying a new truck and a new trailer, and I'm hitting the road. It's like,
it's so hard.
Just go easy, and like
pump the brakes.
Yeah, I agree with the nice, rig to get around, but maybe get the used one or something, and then put some money aside, because going back to education, I got 2 sisters that are very well educated, and a brother who's a fire chief, and in the process of getting their education, it costs a lot of money. So you're gonna make a lot here. Unfortunately, I was able, not being boastful, but to make quite a bit more than they do, through the years. And when it's slow, if you're smart, you've got that little nest egg, so you can just, I got a month off. Well, shucks, like, I'm gonna go out and go do something.
Go hunting.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go out and kill something, do something. If you're smart with your money, if you're going paycheck to paycheck, then now you're in a different boat. So that's where I could see the slow times get tough, but definitely just ride it out. It'll get crazy. It'll be too much work, and you don't have enough people, and up and down and up and down.
Then again, the cool thing with this job is you have so many skills that aren't just like, you don't just have to do line work in a slow time. Well, hey, shit, I got a CDL. Can I go drive a truck? Can I humble myself for 5 minutes and go drive truck somewhere for, be a delivery driver, truck driver, whatever, just to make it through that slow time? Can I go find a construction job that's outside the trade that I can, whatever it is? You got a whole handful of skills that are very usable and transferable. I like that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you guys' time. Is there anything else that's burning on your heart to talk about before we kick out of here?
No, appreciate you coming.
Yeah, appreciate.
Yeah, love it. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys, once again, hope you got some value out of the episode. I know I did. I enjoy every single one of these conversations, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. One more time for the folks in the back, if you could like, subscribe, follow, make sure you're following either in audio form and video form on YouTube. Much appreciated. All right, guys, play safe. Peace.